the quality of the matches, the entertainment of the matches is so fantastic that the fans who are into it, like I am, we don't care. Like, we just want to see these two wrestle in a great match. And so they are doing, for the first time ever, a 30-minute Iron Woman match, a la the 60-minute Iron Man match, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, that a lot of people remember. They're doing a 30-minute women's one tonight between Sasha Banks and Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship, and that is the main event of the event, which is awesome. But you'll be getting, I gave you a little too much on that, but I'm passionate about that. I love pro wrestling as a fan, and also the Divas Revolution that's going on is in flux, and that is because it is no longer in the hands or being claimed by the people who created it and were building it, which is NXT. It got passed on to WWE, and they're the reason it's shaky. But again, you'll get all my take on that a little later too. If not, consider this the take. Alright, so that's what's coming up on tonight's show. Like I said, tons of stuff to talk about. Going to be a solid 2 hours, but we'll try not to go too much over 2 hours tonight or from this point on. I'm really going to try to stick more to the 2-hour shows so that we can lock that in for replay value, syndication, blah, 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 stuff like that. All right, well, now that everybody is fully educated on how to stay in touch and informed with the show and the show going-ons via Twitter and Facebook, how to enjoy the show on various nights and days of the week on WNLMradio.com or on demand via Spreaker app, TuneIn app, SoundCloud, YouTube, and what's all coming up on the show. Let's not waste any more time and let us get to our first segment of the show, our hit opening segment. Mind you, everybody say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Balls on fire. What has got yours truly, Scotty Ball, the most on fire? Fire. Settle down, Beavis. Sorry about that, butthead. Alright. So, I was thinking, as I always do, it's very, very difficult. Because to me, this is like an honor. What topic gets chosen for Balls on Fire every week. So, I don't take the selection process lightly, or at least I usually don't. I try not to. And this week there are so many good candidates. We've got a Vikings heartbreaking loss that we're coming off of that could have and should have been won, and not necessarily heartbreaking, but just disappointing because, like I said, the opportunity to win it was there. So, I could go with Vikings, which we've been doing for a couple weeks here. The Vikings also made a trade yesterday that I am extremely on fire about. So slightly hypocritical of me for me to not start with the Gerald Hodges trade to San Francisco for backup center Nick Easton and a 6th-round draft pick. Whew, wow, that's a Chip Kelly trade, and we're the Eagles if I've ever seen one. But I'll get to that later, because we're going to be debuting a new segment devoted specifically to football, since we got so much football to discuss, or at least NFL football, anyway. But so no NFL to open the show. College football, boy, the Gophers getting embarrassed, getting their furry little behinds handed to them by the Northwestern Wildcats, 27-0. That was definitely, worthy as well. But I'm not a big enough Gophers fan to really be that fired up about it. It's kind of just an I told you so moment for me. So not going to go with that either. Big NHL season preview extravaganza. NHL regular season starts tonight. Could have went that way, but I'm not gonna. UFC 92 recap. I didn't get to watch it, so again, WNBA finals. Haven't watched it. PGA no, NASCAR no, college basketball no, WWE wrestling no. So that leaves one thing that I've been neglecting a lot. Well, not a lot. I've been incorporating it into every show, but we haven't been going truly balls deep on it for quite a while. So tonight we open the show in our hit opening segment, Balls on Fire, discussing Major League Baseball playoffs. The 2015 Major League Baseball playoffs are upon us. They began last night, as a matter of fact, the wild card round, if you can call it a round. Oh, jeez Louise, are you kidding me? The wild card play-in playoff round is what it really should be called. Began last night with the number one seed wild card team, New York Yankees in the American League, taking on the Houston Astros, the number 2 wild card team, the wild card bid that both the Angels and the Twins were competing for in the final week of the season. And to much my delight, the Houston Astros won that game, owned that game, dominated, controlled that game. Could have been a lot worse. It could have been, like, early on, it was like second inning. They left the bases loaded, the Astros did. So, they had opportunity to get even more runs than what they did. But they ended up winning, beating the Yankees, the mighty Yankees, 3-0 in New York. And now they advance to the division round of the MLB playoffs, where they will take on the number 1 seed Kansas City Royals. The other matchup then now in the AL division series, and of course this was already determined, but anyway, would be my Toronto Blue Jays, I should say, because I picked them at the All-Star break. I picked them before the trade deadline. I picked them. So we've got my number 2 seed Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Texas Rangers, who have been red hot the last couple post All-Star break, post trade deadline, and ended up winning a very tough competitive AL West. The AL West ended up being the best division in the American League this year, by way of having 3 teams contending for the division title and a playoff spot. No other division can really say that. Cleveland wasn't really in contention, and the Twins, fell short. And then other than the Yankees and the Blue Jays, no one was really of any relevance in the East for several months now. So the AL West ended up being your best division in the American League. That was one pick I had wrong. I had the AL Central being the toughest division in all of baseball, let alone in the American League. So I was wrong on that. Now, tonight, we have the other one-game playoff, play-in, playoff, whatever, wild card crap for the National League, where the number 1 seed in the wild card, the number 1 wild card seed, Pittsburgh Pirates, take on the number 2 wild card host, the number 2 wild card seed, Chicago Cubs. Now, this is such a waste. This one, more than anything, drives me crazy and will lead to deeper discussion in the show. But for now, we'll just try to keep it to this. Worst case scenario possible ever in all of baseball, playoff format, under current format, happened this year. You've got the 3 best teams in all of baseball are in the same division. It's the Cardinals, and then the Pirates, and then the Cubs. The second and third best teams in all of baseball, they play each other in the wild card round for a 1-game playoff. The winner of 1 game. It's not even a series where it's 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. 1 game, a one and done. Losing, you're out. So you could have earned one of these teams, either the second best team in baseball or the third best team in baseball, earned that record throughout the entire season. And if they lose one game, they're out of the playoffs. That's it, they're done. And then the winner of that, so likely the second best team in all baseball, then as the wild card has to play the top seed, which in this case is the best team in all of baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. How could baseball allow this to happen? I said this from the beginning when they added the extra wild card. I've got nothing against more teams being involved in playoff push relevant September baseball. I'm all for that. That is fantastic. But having two wild card teams that have to play each other in basically a 163rd regular season game, a tiebreaker game, a wild card tiebreaker game, where just the team with the better record hosts it as the home team, it's ridiculous. It is so unfair to the team that earns the better record out of those two teams. And it's not fair to either of those two teams when they've got better records than 2 out of 3 division winners in their conference, as is the case this year. The 3 best teams in the National League are the Cardinals 1, the Pittsburgh Pirates 2, and the Chicago Cubs 3. They are all in the National League Central. The New York Mets, who won the National League East, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who won the National League West. Both are not as good, but because they won their division, they had lesser competition, they're rewarded by an automatic division round series. Again, we're going to go deeper into that deeper in the show. I don't want to go all out on my gripes and thoughts on the playoff format. So, but there's plenty there. Okay, the seed has not only been planted, but it's blooming pretty hardcore. Blooming hardcore. That's good. But so anyway, we'll try to keep it to what is going on right now. And tonight we've got the Cubs on the road against the Pirates in a one-and-done playoff scenario where the winner advances to face the best team in baseball all year, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the loser goes home, even though they had the second or third best record in all of baseball throughout the entire 162 regular season marathon. 162 games, and it doesn't matter. No, who's in your division, and they're right. That's what matters. And you're really, what's the point in all this interleague play and stuff? Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, we got Jake Arrieta for the Cubs tonight. I forget who's going against the Pirates. Both pretty good pitchers. Both really good teams. Like, that's what stinks. I want both of these teams to win. And basically, never mind. We got to save that. Dang it. But anyway, I don't know who's going to win this one. The Pirates are great, and they're at home. The Cubs have Back to the Future Part 2 on their side. And they're a really good team as well. I will pick Pittsburgh since the road team won, last night. And I'm so happy that Houston beat New York. I'm not a Yankees fan. But so I'm picking Pittsburgh. But anyway, let's go over what I think's going to happen throughout the playoffs. Might as well get the picks out of the way now that you know who's playing who. So in the AL, Toronto hosting the Texas Rangers. This is going to be a really good series. Both of these teams have been red hot. Arguably, these are the 2 best American League teams post All-Star break. I'm guessing there's probably numbers and statistics somewhere that would support that feeling of mine, although I haven't looked at any in regards to that statement. But I'm pulling for Toronto. I'm going Toronto, but I'm not uber confident. It's the first time that Toronto's been in the playoffs since Joe Carter hit his walk-off home run in like 1993's World Series.